for today's video we are going to learn how to make a headbow. You will need for this your scissors, some fabric, I bought about 1 meter, a spool of cotton, a tape measure, and a needle, which I for some reason didn't photograph. So to start, I got 30 centimeters of cotton in a 1 meter 50 drop, and I measured it out to 77 centimeters plus seam allowance and then cut it. As you can see, I have a bit too much. I folded it and tested to see how it was going to look. I did have a double width, so I cut it in half. I cut off a length of thread to start, and to start the sewing I started on one of the short ends. You can do this on either end, it doesn't really matter, and I just did, I believe this is back stitch all the way along. You can use whatever stitch as long as it's secure. You shouldn't really be able to see it. Obviously using white thread wasn't the best idea, but I wanted to make sure it could be seen. Yeah, we sew up all the way along the edge to the other end, and I left a little gap so that I could turn it inside out so we wouldn't see the stitching. Yeah, once you've got it all stitched with your little gap, about 2 centimeters of gap maybe, just enough to get your hand in, well, fingers, turn it inside out, sort out the corners. Stitch up the end where it's still a bit open, because you don't want that just being open. This is also a great time to give it an iron to get the shape to stay. I'm also wonderful at filming things. There we go. So you can see my stitches there, but I sort this out later, it's fine. This is why we use thread that is the same colour for our projects. So here I am working out what kind of shape and space I need. I'm very sorry about this background noise. So I like to fold it into quarters and then open out and flatten. Now the original pattern I learnt from does this quite differently, but I did my own take. As you can see, I'm not entirely sure that I like the length, so I make it a bit shorter, measure it to make sure it's even, and here we are. Now to make the middle of the bow. So this is approximately 10 centimeters wide, and then you fold it in on both sides and stitch it down into a tube. You can do this bit quite messily, as long as you make sure you don't go through when you're sewing the tube. I do have a few issues with this because I didn't pin it, but if you pin it you will have much more success. And there we are, the end of the tube. So now, testing to see if that looks like it's the right kind of scale. It's also very important and crucial to make sure we get the right pleats. Sorry about the washing machine noise. Yeah, this is the kind of shape I decided to go for. I flipped it over and put some stitches in. I don't show it here, but I did actually go and sew the entire length of the back. I just started in the middle where I wasn't using pins. So I wrapped this round, making sure that I had enough that it was not showing on the front, and this was in the middle of the back. Then stitch that together right down the middle of this. Obviously this looks way neater if you do it in the right colour thread. I also didn't stitch it to the bow itself, so there we have it. That's our general bow shape. So we can have a nice little look at it. There's the back. I went over my stitches where they were white with green Sharpie, which I think worked pretty well. Just wanted to make sure you could see what I was doing. I love these bows. They're very versatile, and they sit nicely on your head. So I threaded a headband through. This is the way of using these. You can kind of see the scale, and yeah, they sit quite nicely. They're not too long or too short, and the scale on your head's quite nice as well. So thank you to Jessica Flapjack for teaching me how to make these bows in the first place, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.